Today, we're embedded with an extraordinary actor, producer, writer, director who's making his first trip to Comic-Con. And no, I'm not talking about Corey Haim. Howdy. I'm Jeff Goldsmith, senior editor for Creative Screenwriting Magazine, and I am, in fact, talking about two-time Oscar winner Kevin Spacey. That's right, good old Lex Luthor was kind enough to let us join him for a special announcement his company Trigger Street Productions made about their website, triggerstreet.com, which partnered with the comics publisher Devil's Due Publishing to add a comic book section to triggerstreet.com. Dana Brunetti, Trigger Street's president, also joins us for the interview, and then our embedded adventure continues as we're off to see Fanboys with Dana and Kevin, and are joined afterwards by co-writer Adam F. Goldberg for another brief Q&A. Of course, don't forget to check out the latest issue of Creative Screenwriting Magazine on newsstands or in your local Barnes & Noble or Borders bookshops in the United States, Canada, the UK, and Western Europe. You could always go to www.creativescreenwriting.com to read all about what's in our latest issue. But now, without further ado, right after Kevin Spacey and Dana Brunetti made their announcement, we stepped outside for a very loud interview where an airplane circled around us, just like in North by Northwest, but nobody was hurt, so it was all good. Also, at one point, we do reference a major car accident. It occurred earlier that day on Thursday on the 5 freeway. A Vaughn's meat truck exploded and stalled traffic for hours. I decided to take the train at the last minute and avoided that traffic mess. Had I driven, I don't think I would have made it in time to do this interview. Anyhow, now that you know what accident we're talking about when it comes up later, we're going to jump right into our interview just moments after I congratulated Kevin and Dana for their fine work on the now Emmy-nominated HBO movie, Recount. Dana Brunetti, Emmy nominee for Recount.
Emmy nominee, and not only that, 21 Emmy nominations for both Bernard and Doris.
We rigged it that way, though, because they were going to give us 22. No, 21.
Actually, we like
it works for a promotion for keep it all in that. Yeah.
All right, so what the hell are you doing down here?
First time at Comic-Con.
What do you think?
Well, I got here this afternoon. I walked through the floor, which was amazing.
Did people freak out? Were you recognized?
Yeah, I was recognized, but actually I've had worse walks through Grand Central, so it really,
yeah,
I was kind of prepared for it to be kind of crazy, but it really was very, very fine. People were very nice, and I looked at a lot of booths and a lot of people.
He's not mentioning the phalanx of security that was around.
Yeah, there was a little phalanx of security, and people dressed up in all of the outfits that they're homages to the characters they love.
We're sitting here with Dana Brunetti, the president, obviously, of TriggerStreet.com, I believe. Do you have a title? Are you president? Yeah. Okay. It's not an intern anymore. You've elevated. All right.
I went from intern to president.
Just before we get to why you guys are here, just tell me really quick, what are you dressed up as today, Dana? Because I'm having
producer.
All right, because your costume was confusing me. All right, we'll see you guys.
And I see you dressed up as a fucking bum
a geek.
No, you're not.
Film hobo. I'm a film hobo. Film hobo is the way I go. Okay, so Trigger Street just announced you guys went live with it, what, 30 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
You went live with the fact that you're going to have a comic book section of Trigger Street. How did you guys first get the idea to expand into comics?
Well, basically, we already covered every other medium that could translate to film, pretty much every other medium, and comics are such a huge, success in the business and have been for such a long time that it was the logical next step of what else could we do that could be on a website that could benefit from the site the same way the other submissions have, and comic books was
it was either that or Amish house building, and we felt that Amish house building really wasn't
that or how-to manuals.
Yeah.
I like how-to manuals. So Kevin, what's your past with comic books? I mean, obviously you were in Superman Returns, but long before that, were you a reader growing up?
I was a reader when I grew up, but I mean, I wasn't a
fanatic.
Yeah, I wasn't a fanatic. But I've always liked them a lot, and now in the last number of years, I've started to get to know them a little bit more, and having met all the guys at Devil's Due, certainly been looking at some of the stuff from there, and it's very cool.
What was your reaction to this idea when you first heard it?
Well, I mean, we had always talked when we first started TriggerStreet.com about eventually we're probably going to want to add categories, and we just wanted to keep it really clean when we first began. But then over time, short stories came on, plays came on.
Sure.
It just seemed like we were always going to expand, and we may well find other ways to expand as the years go on. I think it's
what
they're
is this
great.
guy with these flybys?
They're great, and starting to see how many movies are made from this kind of material and become so remarkably successful, and particularly the ones that are then from independent publishers, not just DC and the big ones, but look at Hancock was independent and Wanted and Hellboy, and so it just seems that it's a lot of where sort of they're finding the material now, and what a great way for us to be involved in platforming emerging talent and maybe finding the big thing.
I've watched your company grow since you guys moved to LA. You really have just kept doing more and more experimental things. The films, obviously your Emmy nominations is very legit, but you guys aren't scared to kind of go into the darker territory, like especially with a company like Devil's Due Pay, kind of writes about. What's your interest actually as your company? Because I know that we've spoken in the past about film properties out of Trigger Street and that they don't really have to be considered for your company to produce, but more just to get them out there and to help new writers. So is that your...
Well, it's basically the mandate that we kind of have is when a project comes in, and if I respond to it, we get it to Kevin, and he responds to it, it's something that we then pursue. For that to happen, it's usually a project that I would want to go see in a movie theater. If it's that I probably wouldn't respond to and wouldn't pay the $10-15 to go see in a movie theater, we don't pursue it. And
sometimes you become, conscious of the obstacles that a film idea might present to you. Period pieces are traditionally difficult to raise money for. But sometimes we also say, you know what, fuck it. We believe in this, and we're going to fight for this, and we're going to try to make this work. And sometimes we're successful in that. We're able to set things up. We had a pretty remarkable year in terms of setting up a whole slate of films for the foreseeable future. Sometimes we're lucky. Sometimes, we're not able to set something up, and we finally get to a point where we say, look, we believe in this, but I don't want to hang on to something long enough just to make sure it never gets done, or produced. So let's let it go. And
that's what I was getting into. I mean, the point of TriggerStreet.com is basically altruistic. Mm-hmm. It's to help underrepresented, talented people
It's not
find their way.
Yeah, and it's also not a vehicle to get to Trigger Street Productions.
Right.
It's a platform for them to share their work, get it out there, get exposure, get feedback, help improve upon their work. And, the chances of Trigger Street picking something up off of the website is very slim. The chances of another company picking them are slim as well, but not as slim because it's actually happening and it is happening. And particularly with having a company like Devil's Due now partnering with us to say we are going to watch that section on your site to try to find talent, that's huge. Because that means that we know that they're watching the site to find something that they can try to do something with.
So I haven't been able to read a brief. It wasn't explained. I know it just happened. Explain how this new section of Trigger Street works. Is it just writers? Is it people who are also artists?
It's completed works.
So it's completed works.
Completed works.
8 to 10.
Interesting.
8 to 10.
6 to 10 completed works. 6 to 10 pages long. Doesn't have to be colored. And we'll probably end up moving it up to 22 pages, but we're just getting our footing right now and kind of filling it out. We'll run the first round of this with the 10-page limit and 6-page minimum. And it's a completed comic book, so it's
why 10-page limit? Just out of curiosity.
That was just an agreement between us and Devil's Due. It's a good way to find out if the person has talent and quickly get through to look at their artwork and their story and their talent.
But you're not loading the site with an enormous amount of
sure.
But we'll eventually we'll take it up to
we'll
take, and because it is completed works as well, not not just scripts or not just art. Some people may not have 22 pages, or some may not have as many. And ultimately, we will eventually go to novels, graphic novels as well.
So what's the end result? I mean, obviously you highlight your top 10 is a part of your site.
It's the same thing that we do right now. There's no guaranteed end result at all.
So there's no publishing deal with Devil's Due?
No. I mean,
that's what I was curious about.
We hope that they will, and I think that they probably will end up finding something that they take to print, but there's no guarantee of that.
Okay.
It's the same thing with a screenplay competition or short film competition. It's basically bringing exposure to the talent that ultimately wins the Trigger Street DDP Comic Book Discovery Award. They can put it on the resume. They will get attention. They will get a panel of judges.
How many times a year is that
award? It's undetermined right now.
Okay, undetermined. Are there any other details concerning it? What the award entails aside from the prestige?
It's just the prestige and the exposure at this point.
That's cool.
And obviously, I'm sure it'll be
What do you want?
considered.
A cash prize, a car? What are you looking for?
I don't know. Well, yeah, and they get a
food
case.
stamps.
They get a case of Stella, maybe. I don't know.
That's what I'm looking for. A case of Stella.
A case of Stella.
Today's a great day for you guys. I mean, not only did you just make this announcement, you're going to see Fanboys tonight.
Yeah.
I think I'm joining you. You said my name's on the list.
It depends on how this goes.
Yeah. So this cut, I mean, that movie has been kind of trouble for a long time, very publicly. I'm not going to get into it all now.
That's what this guy keeps flying over top of us.
Circling us in the airplane.
It's Harvey Weinstein's flying over top of us.
Well, so what is this cut? How does this?
I said I want to land at a Comic-Con.
Here's essentially, as sometimes happens in the process of putting a movie together, there's differing opinions about what the final cut of a movie should be.
Right.
Dana and I had an opinion, which was that the cut we showed, not all of, but a lot of last year at Comic-Con, we were very happy with. We felt it was a very strong film and a fun film and a movie that had a real heart to it as well. There were other opinions in the Weinstein Company that decided they wanted to try something else. So they
wanted to make it a funnier, more road trip movie and take out some of what they thought was a bit of a downer in the movie.
Like the cancer.
Yeah, like the
which
cancer.
is the entire reason that they go on the road trip.
It's the catalyst of the movie, and it propels them and the whole reason they go on. But, to their credit, I believe that they were just simply trying, they were looking at the business side of things, thinking what would play to a wider audience. And they gave it a shot. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Harvey saw the way that Kevin and I were pitching it, and he agreed to it and let us take the movie back over and basically give the fans back the movie that they wanted in the form. Put the cancer back in. It's not heavy-handed, and it works. It gives a catalyst for the reason that they go on the road and do what they do without giving the movie away. But I guess everyone that's listening to this probably already know what the movie is, that they go on, to fulfill a friend's dying wish. Somebody got the bright idea, well, let's take out the reason that they just become some assholes that go and break into Skywalker Ranch.
But it's been great because the moment that we were able to successfully convince Harvey that this was the right thing to do, because the truth is, look, everyone in the business, and certainly people in Harvey's position, pay a lot of people a lot of money all year long to figure out what do we think the public wants. And in this case, the public was telling us what they wanted.
Very, very loudly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good that they did, but I mean, you guys, you run your own company. You see scripts, you bring them to screen. It's very late in the game once a film's done to take out an inciting incident like that out of a screenplay.
Definitely.
It's just such a strange
note. It does
note.
happen. I mean,
it does happen. Yeah.
We were just very determined that at the end of the day, no matter how long this particular disagreement went on, we were determined that it wouldn't happen.
And ultimately,
incredibly happy that it's going to be seen tonight in the way we wanted it to be.
And it's working out as well, because we made that movie for $4 million, so there were some issues with it just from a production standpoint for the fact that, and so we were able, and when we went back in to do our cut, to take some of the stuff that was done on the reshoots that they had basically half of our budget to do a few days of reshoots.
Right.
So that stuff looks really good, and so it did help improve the movie. But all the reshoots were done to remove the cancer, so we were able to utilize the best aspects of that to up the production value of the film, but to keep the story where it ultimately needed to be.
Spacey, any truth to the rumors that there might be something starting to happen for Superman 2?
I hear, I don't know any really more than anybody else does. I just know that I think over the last number of months they've been hearing pitches, and I think once they find the pitch that they want, then
they're waiting for the Jeff Goldsmith pitch.
The right pitch. What was your favorite part of that experience? Kind of like, aside from working again with Brian, but just being a part of a comic book universe.
Well, it was for me. It was really the first big tentpole movie I'd ever been on. I mean, when we were in, I'd say maybe Outbreak before that, but it doesn't hardly count.
Dangerous Monkey Outbreak.
Dangerous Monkey.
Dangerous Monkey.
Yeah. But for me, like just to be down, to be in Sydney and to be on that Fox lot and to literally, we had every single soundstage.
Yeah.
Was for me a wild experience, because sometimes I've shot an entire movie on one soundstage. You just keep moving sets around.
It was your experience right after Beyond the Sea, where probably the craft service of Superman Returns was what you shot Beyond the Sea.
You're not wrong. So what I liked, though, from my perspective as an actor, was that I never felt dwarfed by it. and that in large measure was because I thought the script was so good. I thought Brian created an environment in the set for us to be able to do the work we wanted to do. And look, let's face it, I was stepping into a role that was iconic. Number one, number two, Gene Hackman had such a great, successful turn with. That I wanted to make it my own, but also be, in a way be respectful to the history of it, as did Brian and his whole conception of that film, keeping it in the Donner world. So I had a blast, and I hope I get a chance to do it again.
Biggest last question for you: are you writing again?
I've got some ideas that swirl around in my head. But
come on, you wrote Beyond the Sea. You got your WGA card. A week before the movie came out.
Yes, that's true.
So you can't just give up there.
No, I probably will. I mean, in the next, when I'm done with the work I'm doing at the Old Vic, and I think I'll start to direct more and sort of focus on that for a while, because it's been a while. It just takes so much time to really direct a movie that I just haven't had the time to do it.
And Jeff, are you coming to do the Trigger Street podcast?
Yes, I think I'm coming to do the
because
Trigger
I do remember I beat the shit out of him last
Yes,
time.
you did.
You're going to come and be he's going to come and be the permanent replacement.
I'm going to come and I be the temporary permanent replacement.
Oh Jesus, Scott Lambert, I'm doing an interview here.
With so many idiots.
Fucking agents. See the agents that come in.
Agents go everywhere.
Do you want to say anything on the podcast? This is John Fogelman.
It's nice to be in San Diego.
That's John Fogelman from William Morris.
I think we took the route.
Scott Lambert,
I think we went to Missouri and back.
You would have done better.
Agents here.
William Morris.
We would have done better if you had flown up to San Francisco and flown back down here to San Diego. You would have gotten there sooner.
Yeah. All right.
We've said that a couple
Look
times.
Look at it this way.
Yeah.
Comic-Con has now experienced the
I'm
world's
sitting here
largest
doing a deal.
barbecue.
This is the new host.
The world's largest barbecue.
You heard what it was?
He's the host for what?
It was a meat truck that caught on fire.
Oh yeah, I saw it on fire on the train on the way down here. Absolutely. I saw that on the way down.
What about the Trigger Street podcast? You can be the host?
I will sit next to my friend Dana Brunetti.
What do we do to get you to be the host?
I hope that I get angry emails from Kevin Spacey complaining about various episodes.
What are we doing with the host? Will you come here next year so we show Fanboys?
We're showing it again next year.
Show it again next
We're
year.
going to come next year and show the DVD.
Wait,
we have a new cut next year.
Yeah, the special edition should be next year.
It's a special edition cut. Well, we want to know if you'll help.
Fifth annual showing.
It still won't be released on DVD by then.
Comic-Con.
Wait, Kevin, one last question, because I am curious about this. You also are going to be a part of the Cameron McIntosh Professor program at Oxford.
Yes, I'm a visiting professor at Oxford University this year.
Talk about what your responsibilities are going to entail, because that's big shoes, son.
Well, I'm not moving up there.
Son?
As a visiting professor, it means I'll probably do about 8 or 9 sessions with the students throughout the course of the year.
Okay.
And I get to determine what we do. So I can do workshops, I can do all kinds of fun stuff with the kids and bring them down to the Old Vic, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Is writing going to influence it at all, or is it such a theatrical structure? Just because you've been in Ibsen plays before, I mean, you've been a part of some of the greatest literature that theater has to present. How important will that literature be in your class?
I think it's important to find out how much they've been encouraged to read some of the great writing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the best playwrights, the best novelists, where a lot of plays are born from, then it's very hard to know where we are now. I mean, sometimes it's I see things that, I know that's a remake of a movie from 1940, blah blah blah,
right.
which was a play, which before that was a novel. And if people only see it in the context that they do in the modern world, I think they're missing the importance of the foundation of a piece of work. And so, I'll be talking quite a lot about great writers, great writing, and what does, in fact, make theater and film sometimes so extraordinary, which is that if it's not on the page, there's not much we can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for your time, you guys. I can't wait to see what we do next.
Trigger Street podcast.
That's
starring
right.
Jeff Goldsmith.
Jeff Goldsmith.
Coming soon.
And I'll probably end up in the Trigger Street podcast here and there sometime soon. It's just going to be a weird experience because I'm so used to podcasting naked that it's just going to be weird to have to, dress up for it. And that's how part 1 of this Q&A went down. Later that same night, I hooked back up with Kevin Spacey and Dana Brunetti to watch the latest cut of Fanboys with them, and we did so with a crowd of excited Comic-Con fans. I gotta say, after all the controversy, it was actually a very funny cut, and it played great with the crowd. As you'll hear, it would seem that some of the strife the film went through actually worked to its advantage. So let's jump right into our interview right outside the noisy theater with Spacey, Brunetti, and co-writer Adam F. Goldberg. So we're right after the screening.
first off, Adam, had you seen this cut?
Well, I was working on some of the final ADR jokes, so
Okay,
I had
so you
seen the
had-
cut. Yes, it was, but not the final one, not with everything in there. So it was great.
First time both of us, all three
Kevin,
of us have
Dana,
seen this.
had you seen this cut?
I hadn't seen this cut. I mean,
Well,
I'd
we
seen a
were
version of this
imposed
cut,
and
but
Right.
not
they had more to
finalized.
do. But yeah, I saw the cut, but I hadn't seen it completed with everything in it and all that ADR and stuff. So yeah, it was really fun to see it, but also to see it with a group of people who get every reference, every joke, every little tiny reference. They were an extraordinary audience. It was great to share it with them tonight in the perfect place.
Did it feel like the script that you read many years ago?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Did it feel like the script that you wrote?
I think Kyle. No, absolutely. Kyle did an amazing job, kind of taking what was on the page and bringing it to life, and adding a lot more that wasn't even on the page. So, and the actors too were just unbelievable with their, that gang and their improvising. You just, they do stuff that no writer can come up with. So, they definitely help. They make me look good. That's for sure.
Was there any scene that was in contention all along that we didn't see tonight that you guys want to tell us about that was just part of the compromise to get the film released?
Well, there's little things that got cut here and there that I liked, little moments that were funny, but, when you're trying to cut a movie down, there's certain things that just end up on the floor, but there was nothing significant that hit the floor at all. They were just little moments, like the guard gate. I always liked the guard gate scene.
Yeah, the guard gate got cut. The commercial,
What was the
when
guard
they
gate scene?
direct a commercial, there's actually a bit when Sam Huntington, his character, does a commercial for the dealership for Bottler Motors, and that got cut. It explains the wardrobe issue where he goes from a suit to an Opie outfit.
Gotcha.
There was a scene that got taken out there that we couldn't find a workaround to explain that, so we just had to roll with
Get
it.
them on the road as quick as possible. That was the idea.
But really, there really wasn't any there was nothing significant that hit the floor. No major scene at all hit the floor.
What was the runtime tonight? Because it seemed pretty brisk. I mean, it seemed like it
I
worked.
think it's 80 something minutes, I believe.
38 minutes.
86.
86?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really short. What was the longest runtime?
6 hours and 42 minutes.
That was the second cut.
That was Harvey's cut.
You guys said that there was a reshoot that went on to kind of help, in the alternate version. I mean, there's so
There was
many
actually two
different
reshoots.
versions. Talk about what was
There
reshot.
was the first reshoot. That's when we got the Kevin Smith bit and a few other things, and then when they run through the sign.
There were a lot of adding driving shots and things to just open the film out
because
a little
we
bit.
shot the entire film in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's a cross-country movie. So being in Albuquerque, we did get a lot to make it look like it was cross-country, but we had to get a few things. And as well, part of the reshoots was actually going to Lucas Ranch and shooting at the ranch. We did one day there.
Cool.
And then with the other one that you were referring to is we did some additional reshoots. That's when the whole excising of the cancer idea came up. But we were able to save a lot of that footage and put it into this cut. The stuff with Danny McBride and a lot of the stuff that
Danny
you saw.
McBride is great. I would watch that guy paint a house. I mean, he's awesome. So Danny McBride, and he was a part of it too, right? Obviously, the reshoot.
The third or fourth reshoots, I guess you would call it.
How many were there, though?
There was a lot.
Yeah, I mean the first thing we shot in Albuquerque was like a $4 million movie. So it was nice that Harvey just kept wanting to make it bigger and bigger.
The last reshoots that went on for a week were half of our entire budget to do the film.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And most of that stuff's not in the movie.
That was all the non-cancer version.
So, give me an example of a scene for the non-cancer version.
You shoot around. Essentially, for example, would he ever go to the hospital?
Right.
Would that scene be there?
So wait, they were going to cut Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, no, well, that scene was where he falls out of the van. That's all in the reshoots. We never had him fall out of the van before. He went because he got sick and it was a bit of a downer. And actually, we were able to figure out a way, all right, well, we can still have him have cancer, but that's a funny moment when he falls out of the van, and it's a good reason rather than him just being really
sick. The reason for him going to the hospital is different from what it was originally intended. But essentially, when you're going to take out a plot storyline, you then have to go back and reshoot stuff so that dialogue goes out and new dialogue goes in to make you understand why you're at that location and whatever. But in fact, we were able to take a lot of that footage that was used, still keep the stuff in we'd originally shot, and make it. And in a sense, it made it funnier and it helped enhance the movie. Yeah.
What was it like for you writing the reshoots? I'm guessing you were writing them?
No, it was actually
improv?
it was during the strike, so I wasn't allowed.
Yes.
It was because they had Danny McBride, Will Forte.
Gotcha.
It was all improv, actually.
Well, not all of it. There was some that was written before the strike, and basically they had an outline that they were going to follow.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then it was basically like, we got to get this, and from point A to point B, and go with it. And so
Gotcha.
Danny McBride and Will Forte and all those guys, they did a fantastic
And also,
job.
you can just wind up Dan Fogler anytime and just watch him go. He can do 20 minutes on Hello.
Yeah.
What was the moment that shocked you guys tonight, or like gave you like a really nice surprise seeing it with a crowd, like a laugh that was much bigger than you expected?
I don't know. I've seen this thing.
Have you
6 or 7
with a
times
crowd?
with the crowd?
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize you'd seen that many times.
I wouldn't so much identify last because you kind of expect them here with this particular group. So I think that there are people here that probably laugh at things that maybe a general audience wouldn't laugh at as much at. It's still funny moments, but because they're so involved and because they've followed the Star Wars, saga so closely, that it was a particularly great, it was like a fantastic opening night for us. But I got to say that for me, to sit there tonight and have a moment when he says, "No, only you. You're the only one who can watch it." To me, that's a really moving moment because that's what the whole journey's been about, is him having an opportunity to see this movie. And I'm really moved by that. I mean, to me, it makes a film that is, yes, it's a road picture, and yes, it's a comedy, but it also is the very essence of why we fought so hard over these last 2 years to keep the film in its original form, because that's the heart of the film. And if you take the heart out, then it's just a kind of road comedy movie. And what makes the movie special is that's what makes it different.
The other version turns them into assholes, just traveling across country to be thieves.
Yeah, just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
As opposed to the reason for doing it is because they want to do something for their friend. And it is a movie as much about Star Wars, it's about friendship. And so for me, that moment is the best moment, because that moment means the movie's what we wanted it to be, and it works. It's for me, that's the biggest payoff.
You guys shot at the ranch. What was it like to work with Lucasfilm and to kind of get those clearances? And what did they think of all
that was
this?
part of the process of getting the film. And when I first read the screenplay, I'm like, how has this not been made? And the problem was, a lot of people were scared of it because they're like, you'll never get this stuff cleared. You can't get this cleared. Luckily, we have Kevin here who can pretty much call anybody, and he called Lucas and basically just asked him, and they let us.
So Kevin has Shatner-like powers. Is that what you're saying?
He does have
anything.
He can score anything. Awesome.
Lucas was great. I mean, my initial conversation, he'd heard about the movie. He'd been aware of it. I think some people on his staff had been aware of it. And I just made a pitch to him about why it was an important film to make, that it'd been a long time that this movie had been trying to get on, and that we really wanted to do it, but we couldn't do it without his help. We couldn't do it without all the clearances throughout. I mean, there's a lot of clearances in the film.
And we actually took a jab at Viacom in the one.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they almost allowed us to use Star Trek.
Oh,
and
really?
then, like, the last minute, there was like an internal battle there, and the last minute they didn't allow it, and we had to alter everything. And that's when Seth Rogen in the film, and he goes, "The horrors of Viacom International wouldn't allow us to use their likeness."
Well,
So
obviously
that was a
relaunching.
little jab at the. But no, you got to remember, we shot this movie 3.5 years ago, and
True.
Star Trek, J.J. Abrams and Star Trek, that wasn't even in
They
discussion.
were probably signing their paperwork.
Fogelman, ask Fogelman. Fogelman, hey Fogelman, we'll get it confirmed right now. Fogelman,
John.
when did JJ sign for Star Trek? How many years ago? We're trying to determine whether or not it was before we shot Fanboys or not.
Well, actually, when they shot Fanboys, I was 12.
JJ wasn't even.
So you would have no idea.
No, and in fact, because I remember when you were roommates with Ramses.
It's true.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
No, okay. You the two of you.
come to the movie. You went to the bar.
Definitely went to the bar.
I've been working with him for 15 years. Of course, I went to the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. Let me start.
Hand him the mic.
I made a mistake by calling you. Lambert, take him away.
Let
Scott,
me have
pull him
the
away.
mic.
No, now seriously.
Yeah.
When did JJ sign the deal with
Seriously?
Paramount?
The deal?
Yeah.
About 18 months ago.
All right, so we were done with shooting it.
Okay.
Because we're talking about how Viacom and
He'll listen to the
Paramount,
podcast.
But we're talking about how they were on the fence about it. They almost gave us clearance to use the Star Trek, Lambert, fuck off. Take him with you. Take Fogelman. Agents away.
Okay. Shorter. Let's go back to this. So Lucas approved without a doubt.
Yeah.
What did he think of that final line when they're sitting there and the lights are going dark and they say, "Wait, the movie's bad"? Because that was a good laugh. That was funny.
The script that went to him.
Yeah.
That line wasn't in it.
Oh, okay.
But then we always had this predicament when we were shooting, like, because they had final approval to
Well, and also
approve
they
it.
saw
so
the
like-
movie. I mean,
Right.
when we finally then showed the movie to them, they loved it. They think it's a lot of fun. They love the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously. That in many ways it has fun with Star Wars, and yet it's also very respectful and reverent to the fans. And it's not in any way making anyone look anything other than genuine about their love for what he did. So I think it's great that he has a sense of humor and he wasn't bothered by it at all.
And it sets us up for the sequel, the Fanboy sequel. Fogler gets up out of the audience and walks out and goes, "Jesus Christ, we got to go save this." And they go to New Zealand or wherever they shot. I'll show you to save the next movie.
I like that concept. That's a very high concept.
So they have to take a boat because Fogler's like he's like
a boat just like King Kong. Yeah.
No, because he's like BA on the A-team, he can't fly. And they get on the boat, and it turns out it's a TrekCon convention boat, and
That's
so they're
terrifying.
stuck with Trekkies the whole
And the
way
funny thing
to
is,
Australia.
McGee is on the boat because he won't fly either. And so there's this whole...
And they end up at Lars von Trier's house, and he never travels.
He's writing it tonight.
I am.
Actually, talk about that dynamic in the Star Wars versus Star Trek kind of riff, because that was very funny and always worked.
Well, I mean, I like both franchises, but
You swing both ways. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's true. I think I've had many conversations with friends who are Trekkers.
What he's trying to say is he's bisexual.
I'm bitrektual. This is true. Bitrektual.
Whatever works. You're Comic-Con. It's all good.
Yeah. No, I think it was just a great source of conflict for the movie. Don't know if it really holds true in reality, but
Didn't you hear those cheers, man?
yeah, that is true. That was a great moment. That first moment where he says for the Trekkies to get the fuck out. That was a great. Got a big cheer on that. So I love that.
All right.
And we're PG-13 now.
Yeah.
Why was this going to be R at one point?
Yeah, it was going to be R because the mention of peyote when they're talking about how he got the recipe from Emil when they're sitting around the campfire, we used to say peyote, but we couldn't mention that. We can refer to it later, and as well as the scene used to be when Roach, the Seth Rogen character, when he's playing the pimp,
Who has a tattoo of Jar Jar on his back, which is terrifying.
Because he hasn't seen the movie yet.
I know.
He doesn't know. I'll give him a break, man.
I knew before I saw the movie, by the way.
Well, he's a pimp. All right. So he, what the hell was my point?
PG-13R.
Oh, so when he comes in, it was one time because this is one time when they're riffing, and he goes, "So, were you okay?" When Jay Baruchel says to him, "So, were you okay?" And he goes, "Well, if that means if I'm gonna rip your penis off and do you with it, then yeah, we're copacetic."
Right.
And they want to prove that, but they would approve if that means
dirtier.
I'm gonna rip your tongue out and lick your ass with it. That was okay.
But we seem to have gotten away with no, it's my penis.
I know, and then they flag the at the end when Jay Baruchel is hugging Kristen Bell, and she goes, "That better be your lucky R2," and he goes, "Nope, my penis." So they
That is so random.
Somehow we got that through.
Sex. It's the sex.
Actually, two quick questions. One was about that peyote scene. What did that scene represent in your screenplay? Because, I mean, on a road trip movie, you always meet some kind of crazy mentor along the way. Were you just kind of going for that?
That was supposed to be Yoda. He was supposed to be our Yoda guy. I think in the script at one point he had big ears, and it was a little bit more obvious.
We've been able to get, the music. I think when they walked into that bar, you would have heard the music from the famous bar scene, because that's the sort of parallel there.
But of course, it was the Mantina, as I noticed in this film.
The Mantina, exactly.
All right, that's cool. Now, you guys, if you will, if you don't want to, it's no big deal. Give us a good Harvey story. You guys definitely got to go through a lot with good old Mr. Weinstein. What's a good Harvey story that? Harvey's definitely a listener, so be careful. I think he's listening in live right now.
I got nothing at this moment but incredible admiration.
I'm not even saying
for
bad.
Harvey. No,
I'm just saying surreal.
I've got great admiration for Harvey. He, he really didn't want to be Darth Weinstein. He really wanted to be a Jedi Knight, and in the end of the day, he did the right thing, and here we are.
He asked me to turn the internet off. He did. It's like, all right, are we good? Can we turn the internet off now?
That'll suffice. Turn the internet off. All right, you guys, thanks for your time. I think it played great with the crowd. Hopefully you'll be in our September-October issue with your co-writer, and maybe you guys will end up in the podcast too when the film comes out in theaters, like for one of our screenings. But otherwise, it played great here at Comic-Con. Thanks for your time.
And that's how the interviews went down. Special thanks again to Kevin Spacey and Dana Brunetti and Fanboys co-writer Adam F. Goldberg for being so generous with their time. And of course, our special guest, amazing William Morris agent John Fogelman, who kindly helped us with our timeline for the new Star Trek project as we were discussing it. And don't forget, you can look for more Comic-Con coverage, including the Creative Screenwriting Magazine panel, hitting iTunes soon. If you dug this episode of the podcast in general, consider tossing a virtual tip into our PayPal virtual tip jar by visiting www.creativescreenwritingmagazine.blogspot.com and look for the PayPal icon. Your tips are appreciated and definitely help out with equipment, hard drives, and all the other stuff we need to keep this podcast running. Of course, feel free to check out my blog, which I even managed to update on the rare occasion that I have time to do so by visiting www.jeffgoldsmith.blogspot.com. You can also always feel free to drop me a line by emailing me at yo.goldsmith@gmail.com, and I'll do my darndest to get back to you as soon as I can. Of course, don't forget to click that subscribe button in iTunes or your podcatching software, because that's how episodes are downloaded automatically every time you click refresh. And if you have a minute, feel free to leave us positive feedback in the iTunes Music Store or at podcastalley.com. I'm Jeff Goldsmith, Senior Editor for Creative Screenwriting Magazine, thanking you again for tuning in and telling you to stay out of trouble. Till next week.